Well, COP11 has been a very collaborative and very engaged COP. There's a little bit an idea of cleanup that needed to happen from COP10, which was so successful in Nagoya. And here in COP11, so many good decisions were taken then, was actually to see how can we implement some of these ideas in COP11.
One of the many things which has been contentious in COP11 is the financial resource mobilization. How do you think the talks around resource mobilization have been in this edition of COP, and where are the gaps?
Yeah, it is disappointing. We are at the last hours of COP, and resource mobilization is the one paper that cannot be approved entirely plenary right now as we speak. But effectively, is this a failure? Well, I don't really think so, because the fact that there is no agreement on these flow of funds that are public funds to go and save nature and complement conservation funds is not that much of an issue, because new collaboration models will emerge from that. And actually it will probably incentivize private funds and private investors to look at how they can contribute to that. And I'm convinced that public funding will come on top and complement these new sources of finance.
So, correct. I mean, that's definitely seems like a way out. But talking about achieving consensus on platforms like the COP meetings, it's extremely difficult because there are always incentives, there are always motives behind resource mobilization, especially talking about money. What do you think should be negotiations, should be the focal point of these negotiations, specifically talking about resource mobilization, given that consensus and one agreement will always be difficult?
It's a very good question, and actually sitting in contact groups you actually see how much there is actually a negotiation around a text, a comma, or a word. And actually the negotiations should be around concepts, ideas, and this is what's happening in the side events, which enriches then the COP decisions and the COP format. But really, if the UN could move into discussions and argumentations and sharing of ideas around concepts rather than words, we might be able actually to get to much more interesting outputs.